Hello and welcome to our Backyard Gardeners Network webinar. I want to thank you for taking the time to look at this recording. This recording is going to be emailed out to the participants who were invited to it, as well as shared on our website. So we hope that people will take the time to take a look at it and find out more about who we are as an organization. And we hope that this is going to inspire you to support our organization and to get involved. So we're starting out with our contact information. Backyard Gardeners Network can be reached at 504-875-2948. That's our office line. You can also find us on the internet at backyardgardenersnetwork.org. We're on Instagram and Twitter at BGNNOLA and on Facebook at Backyard Gardeners. The purpose of this webinar is to share with you again the inner workings of our organization, our core values, why we do the things that we do and why we work the way that we do, the various programs, free community programming that we offer in the Lower Ninth Ward community, and the impact of it in the community. So Backyard Gardeners Network is a nonprofit organization based in the Lower Ninth Ward, and our mission is essentially to sustain and strengthen our community of the Lower Ninth Ward. We use our own food growing traditions as a platform to build community, revitalize the neighborhood, and preserve our cultural heritage, because we understand that growing food and connecting with the land is part of who we are as a people. And we really want to promote that and use it to make our community stronger. Our organization is fiscally sponsored by Social and Environmental Entrepreneurs, which is a California-based 501c3 nonprofit organization. And we currently manage 2 community gardens in the Lower Ninth Ward, the Laurentine Ernst Community Garden and the Gorilla Garden. We also do free community programming out of the Gorilla Garden for the purposes of promoting health, close-knit community, and self-reliance in our neighborhood. And we'll get to those projects in a minute. But first I want to start with our core values. So really the primary value that guides our work is community control and benefit. And what this means to us is that, number one, first and foremost, the leadership of our organization must reflect the majority of the community. So the Lower Ninth Ward is a predominantly Black community, mostly low income, mostly New Orleans natives or longtime residents. So for us, it's important that that's reflected in who runs the organization, who are the leaders of workshops and events that take place at the garden, who we hire as consultants and to do work, for us within the organization. We are not an exclusive organization, but we are very focused and targeted, and it's very important to us that our leadership is reflective of our community. Second is respect and reverence for the knowledge and resources within our community. So we always look to our community first for the experts. A lot of times in communities like the Lower Nine, there's a tendency to look outside as though we don't have the knowledge and resources among ourselves. But we know that it's there and it's worth it for us to find it. And so we value the stories of our community members, especially our elders, and we seek collaborations and partnerships within our community. And then finally, the Lower Ninth Ward community are the ultimate beneficiaries of the work of BGN. So we make sure that we do targeted outreach to ensure that the people who are participating in our workshops, in our events, the people who ultimately benefit from our work are our community. And again, we're not an exclusive organization. Anyone can come to our gardens, and we welcome and we love having a diverse environment. However, we need to make sure that the Lower Ninth Ward community are the ones who are benefiting from the work that we do. Backyard Gardeners Network is run by 2 women who are Lower Ninth Ward natives. Myself, Jenga Mwendo, the director and founder of Backyard Gardeners Network. I work in community development, and outside of Backyard Gardeners Network, I'm the deputy director of Crescent City Community Land Trust. I'm also a homeowner in the Lower 9 and a mother. Courtney Clark is our programming coordinator. She too is a Lower Ninth Ward native, and she's an artist. She's also a homeowner in the neighborhood, and she's a mother of twins. It's important that you know who is behind this work. Besides Courtney and I, there's a slew of volunteers and interns, and we'll get to some of our youth interns in a minute. But there's lots of people who help with the work, to build the work that we do and to run the work that we do. So starting with our projects, we have two gardens. One is the Laurentine Ernst Community Garden. Now the Ernst Garden was around long before Katrina. It was a Parkway, and still is, a Parkway Partners garden. And after Katrina, it fell into disrepair and was overgrown. And when I came back to New Orleans in 2007, I started organizing people around revitalizing this garden. And that's really what started, how Backyard Gardeners Network came about. I started to see the value of bringing people together around a community garden space that could be beneficial to everyone. Next door to the garden was this house that was essentially falling apart, like so many houses in the Lower Ninth Ward. After Katrina, the owner hadn't come back, and it had begun to become blighted and overgrown. And so we were able to acquire it with the help of Preservation Resource Center, the Holy Cross Neighborhood Association, and we raised funds to renovate this property. We also got support from Center for Sustainable Engagement and Development, as well as Hands on New Orleans and a number of other volunteers and organizations to revitalize this building and turn it into both our office and a garden resource center. So inside of this building we have seeds, we have tools for people to borrow, and books as well. Our second physical project is the Gorilla Garden. Now, the Gorilla Garden is about 10 blocks away from the Ernst Garden, on the corner of Chartres and Charbonnet in the Lower Ninth Ward, and it really functions more as an open-air community center. Now, this garden was a blighted piece of land that had been vacant long before Katrina hit. One of my neighbors told me he used to throw seeds on this lot and just enjoy watching people come and harvest what he grew. So he and I and a few other neighbors got together and started envisioning what we could create at this site and how it could be beneficial to the community, and really from there, the Gorilla Garden was born. We call the Gorilla Garden an open-air community center because, as you'll see, it is not 100% dedicated to growing food. While we do have a fruit tree grove and we have community garden plots, a lot of the space is dedicated to gathering, to people coming together, to eating. And we do a variety of workshops and events at this space, and I'll go over those in a minute. So our programs that we do at the Gorilla Garden include Kids Club, Food is Medicine, and the Youth Internship Program, and Super Saturdays. In the spring of 2017, we're doing Kids Club, Food is Medicine, and the Youth Internship Program, but not Super Saturdays. We hope to bring Super Saturdays back in the fall, but we're not doing them right now. So this webinar is going to focus on the three that we're currently doing: Kids Club, Food is Medicine, and the Youth Internship Program. Kids Club is a weekly program that happens on Saturdays at the Gorilla Garden from 2 to 4 p.m. It includes gardening, art, and cooking activities for kids between the ages of 5 and 13 years old. We provide snacks and water for the kids, and it's absolutely free. And so every week the children get to come to the garden. They get to grow their own food. They started their own garden plot last week with the help of our Lower Ninth Ward gardener, Chris Ford. In a couple of weeks they'll start cooking. We have a great partnership with Grow Dat Youth Farm, and their teams actually will be coming in to support the Kids Club and to teach our kids cooking. And then finally, we'll be doing art. So the kids will actually be able to work on a capstone art project that will actually decorate the garden. So there'll be a lasting piece that they can always come back to look at and understand that they had a hand in creating something that's permanent to beautify a community space. The Kids Club is supported by a one-year grant from the Food Trust. That grant will that grant will end in August. And so we're continuing to look for funding for Kids Club. We create a safe, healthy, and loving space at the Guerrilla Garden. It's an opportunity for kids to connect with nature, connect with others, and it's really important that we model Black leadership for our children, who are mostly Black children in the neighborhood. And also that we allow them the opportunity to practice respect for the environment and each other. And going back to this idea of leadership, I want to point out the picture in the upper right-hand corner. This was taken last week at our first Kids Club of the season. And you'll notice the little kids standing along the front row and the older kids in the back with Backyard Gardeners Network t-shirts on in the back row. Now the older kids are actually our paid youth interns, and I'll talk about the youth internship program in a minute. But what's important to talk about right now with Kids Club is that our youth interns are actually trained this season to work with our little kids. So they get the experience of working with someone younger than them, learning as a teacher. And our little kids get a role model, someone to look up to. And one of the best things that you can hear from a child who has experienced your program is to tell you that they can't wait to come back next week. And that's what we heard from Keisha, who's a 9-year-old Kids Club participant last week. All she wants to do is to come back to Kids Club the following week. And we think it's in large part not only to the fun activities that she was able to participate in, but the engagement that she was able to have with our older youth interns as well. Kids Club is really in response to a lack of activities for children in our neighborhood. There's a limited number of places that children can go in the lower Ninth Ward to be engaged in fun and educational activities. And as some of you may know, Also's Community Center recently closed, and they did an after-school program for kids every day of the week. And since that's no longer available, there's a limited amount of things that children can be engaged in. There's also few playgrounds and few healthy food choices. So us having created a space where kids can come to not only eat healthy food but engage in fun and educational activities, we really believe it's necessary, and it's a really positive thing for our community. Now I want to talk about Food is Medicine. Food is Medicine happens on a weekly basis every Thursday at the Guerrilla Garden. And the focus of the program is really food as a primary source of healing. The workshops are set up so that the first half focuses on a lecture. We usually have a health professional, a nutritionist, or some expert in food come to talk about a different aspect of nutrition. And each season we focus on a different diet-related disease. This season we're talking about diabetes. The second half of the workshops focus on cooking. So every week the participants will get to actually cook on site, and we have a full outdoor kitchen. So participants can cook on site a dish that has to do with whatever the topic is that we're talking about that particular week. Our workshop series is community-based, and it's very accessible. We're right on the corner of Charters and Charbonnet. Most of our participants do come from the lower 9, but we also have participants who come from Gentilly or as far as the West Bank to attend our weekly workshops. And these workshops are absolutely free. They're supported in part by a grant from Whole Cities Foundation, and we really appreciate that partnership, and we hope that it continues. We also receive support from Whole Foods Market for this, as well as Grow That Youth Farm. Baptist Community Health Clinic also provides free health screenings for our participants. They get their blood pressure, blood glucose, and their weight checked at the very beginning of the workshop series and then again at the very end of the workshop series. And this allows them not only to be aware of what their levels are, but also to be able to compare from the start of the workshop to see if there's any changes at the end. Every workshop series also includes a field trip. In the past, we've gone on grocery store tours. We've gone to visit urban farms. It's an opportunity to get out of the garden and go and experience something else food-related that's going to help our participants on their way, on their journey to a healthier, cleaner lifestyle. We also do a film screening every season. In the past, we've shown documentaries like Soul Food Junkies, which is a documentary that focuses on the history of soul food and both the good and the bad parts of it. We've also shown Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, and also another documentary called Forks Over Knives, which promotes a plant-based diet. And then finally, Food is Medicine culminates with a really fun and competitive cooking contest where our participants really get to show what they know. And we model it after a show on Food Network called Chopped, where participants get a bag of mystery ingredients. They don't know what they're going to get before they receive the bag, and they all get the same things. And they have a specific period of time, usually 45 minutes, to create a dish or a number of dishes for the judges to taste. Our participants take it very seriously, but they also have a lot of fun. And it's a really good way to show how easy it can be to create a healthy meal using limited ingredients in a short period of time. Food is Medicine was a response to the diet-related health problems in our community. Most of our participants either have themselves or know someone in their families who has a diet-related health problem like diabetes or obesity, high blood pressure, heart disease. So Food is Medicine was really in response to that. We're also in a neighborhood where there are a few healthy food choices. We have a number of corner stores, but there's no grocery store, full-service grocery store in our neighborhood. We do have a farmer's, not a farmer's market, but a fresh food market that happens every Saturday thanks to Sankofa. But outside of that, there's really not very many choices. But what we do at the Garden with Food is Medicine is on a weekly basis create a very supportive environment. The acronym for Food is Medicine is FAM. And we really create a family, a very supportive network of people who are really serious and conscious about getting well. We say our tagline is get well, stay well. It starts with food. So I want to share with y'all some testimonials from people who have participated in our workshops. Warrenetta Banks, who's a Lower Ninth Ward resident, she also runs a nonprofit organization called Lower Nine Resilient. She's a Lower Ninth Ward native as well, and has participated in 2 of our Food is Medicine workshop series. She says that she's gained so much knowledge about eating healthier. This is a woman who started drinking kale smoothies and walking on a regular basis to stay active, stay fit. She credits the workshops for helping her make healthier lifestyle choices, and it's really been something that's beneficial to her. Another participant was Lisa Collins, who's a community wellness advocate who works with Baptist Community Ministries. And she highly, highly recommends our program, not only because it's extremely informative, but also because we get to actually pick fresh items from out of the garden to work together, as a team and do hands-on cooking as opposed to just a lecture. And it's in a beautiful outdoor environment. We've also had participants tell us that they've been able to reduce the amount of medications that they've been on as a result of participating in Food is Medicine. They've said that they've been able to lose weight as a result of participating in Food is Medicine. They've told us that their doctors are encouraging them to continue on with the workshops and to keep on this path of health and wellness because it's doing really positive things for their bodies. So we're really proud of Food as Medicine. It's probably the most popular program that we have, and that shows us that it's very, very much needed in our community. So finally, the Youth Internship Program. The Youth Internship Program is a really great paid work opportunity, a work study opportunity for teenagers between the ages of 14 and 19. We target the Lower Ninth Ward community. However, we accept applications from all over New Orleans. Usually we get about half kids from the Lower Nine and half from other parts of New Orleans. We accept between 4 and 6 full-time interns every season. This season we actually hired 7 and 2 of them are part-time. And then we also hired for the first time 2 senior interns. These are interns or young people who were veterans of the program who demonstrated a level of maturity and responsibility that allowed us to feel comfortable hiring them as senior interns in more of a leadership role. So the Youth Internship Program is broken up into 3 main areas. The interns work in gardening, so they actually grow their own food. They're responsible for their own plot. 2 weeks ago, they planted tomatoes and peppers in their plot. And they're also responsible for garden maintenance. So that's mostly weeding and watering right now, but whatever needs to be done in the garden, they're responsible for taking care of that. We also train them to do community outreach, which involves door-to-door flyering, talking to Lower Ninth Ward residents about what it is that we do at the garden and inviting people to come out. As a result of the community outreach that our interns did last week, we got 10 really excited and interested kids coming to Kids Club who had been told about Kids Club many times in the past, but didn't know that it was Saturday at 2 o'clock. So our interns went out and and talked to families, knocked on doors, and as a result, those kids got a really wonderful opportunity to engage at the garden, learn about growing their own food, and really have a good time outdoors at the Guerrilla Garden. So the third area where the interns work is in workshop support. So I just mentioned Kids Club. They help with setup and cleanup. They learn about working in a team. And they really focus on, it's a really great opportunity for them to practice being proactive, identifying what the needs are in a space, and seeing themselves as leaders in making sure that the needs are met and that things get done. So they help us with Kids Club and with Food as Medicine. Evaluation is a very, very important part of the Youth Internship Program, and the interns engage both in self-evaluation and group evaluation. Every week they're required to evaluate themselves, to look at the past week, think about what it is that they have done in terms of working at Backyard Gardeners Network, and to evaluate basically how they did. Did they come to work on time? Did they approach their work with integrity? Were they accountable to their team members? Were they respectful to the other people that they're working with and the participants of our workshops? So looking at different aspects of what it means to be a youth intern, and are they living up to those? And to be able to continue doing the things that they do well and to improve upon improve in the areas where they need more practice. And then every month we come together as a group and we'll do group evaluations. And group evaluations start with staff giving feedback to the interns, constructive criticism that's designed really to help them to be reflective and to grow. And then by the end of the by the end of the internship program, the interns are giving each other feedback and also giving staff feedback. Another important part of the internship program are the educational trainings. So we want to make sure that our kids are prepared to handle the money that we're giving them. So we do a money management training. For a lot of kids, this is their first job. We hire kids as young as 14 years old. So some of them have never received a paycheck before. And we want them to be equipped and ready to handle getting money on a regular basis. Some kids also don't have bank accounts, so we're working with Fidelity Bank this season to get those kids who don't have bank accounts, to get them bank accounts so that they don't have to go to check cashing places, for instance, to cash your check and end up losing a large percentage of their money. We also train in working with children, and we talked about that with Kids Club and the importance of especially our younger teens, seeing themselves as role models and what that means to really model positive behavior for children, and being aware at all times that younger children are watching them and will model the way that they behave. Being able to look at children with love and respect and treat them the same way you would want to be treated. We also do trainings on food justice, the idea that everyone not only needs but has a right to quality food. We talk a lot about food access and what it means to live in a neighborhood where there's very poor food access and the injustice that is inherent there, but then also what we can do to take care of ourselves and our communities in light of the lack that's around us. We also do a workshop on Black land loss, the importance of land ownership in the Black community, and how much land has been lost over the past century, especially in the farming community, and what it means to really to be able to control how your food is grown and be able to have control of that very important part of the food system. So the kids work really hard, but we also want to have fun as well. So we take them on field trips that are both fun and educational, and also that expose them to other parts of New Orleans and other parts really of the country that they may not have experienced before. Last week we took them to Grodat Youth Farm. In the past, we've gone kayaking on Bayou St. John, and we intend to do that again in June of this season. This season, we're also going to take them on a Lower Ninth Ward tour so they can learn more about some of the community leaders and business owners in the neighborhood that maybe they didn't know before. Last season, we took them on a field trip to Mississippi to visit the Indian Springs Farmers Cooperative and meet Black farmers who are actually growing and selling food that we eat. Last season, we also were really grateful and fortunate to be able to partner with Rethink New Orleans, to be able to take two of our interns, our older interns, to New York to the Black Urban Gardeners Conference. So that was a wonderful experience. For both of them, it was their first time on a plane, first time in New York, and it was a really wonderful experience. What we focus on mostly, and I mentioned this a little while ago when we talked about evaluation, but we reiterate a set of values throughout the course of the youth internship program because we really want to support our youth and set them up for success while setting very clear and high expectations of them. So our first principle, our value, is really community, and everything that we do is community based, and it's by and for our community, and that's something that they feel and that they're also expected to participate in and to promote throughout the internship program. We stress accountability. Being accountable to each other as a team, responsibility, coming on time to work, knowing that other people are relying on you. Being proactive, finding where things need to be done and stepping in and doing them as opposed to waiting to be told. Appropriate attire and behavior, always being aware that of what work behavior is and what work dress is, and making sure that you're always putting your best self forward. or your most appropriate self forward for the environment. Integrity. We really stress having high character, thinking about who you are as an individual, being honest and forthright. And then finally, respect for ourselves and respect for our community. The Youth Internship Program was created in response to, one, the lack of paid work opportunities for youth in our community and really around the city. But we're based in a lower Ninth Ward, and we know there's not a lot of places that youth can go to have paid work. And also not only just paid work, but paid work that's going to uplift them, that's going to build them into leaders, and hopefully leaders in their communities when they grow up. So building team and leadership skills, also building character, going back to the values that we talked about in the last slide. We really believe that it's important for our interns not just to come to work, but to really think about themselves and how they're being, and the behavior that they're modeling for others, and to really build strong character as a part of, or as a result of, participating in this program. And finally, with our community outreach and the workshop support, the interns are getting very good practice in community organizing and building, because, as I mentioned before, we hope that one day they'll be leaders in their communities. As a result of participating in the Youth Internship Program, many of our kids have said that it's changed their perception of the Lower Ninth Ward. Even kids who are from the Lower Nine, it's changed their perceptions of what they thought about their community. The Lower Ninth Ward has a negative reputation in many respects, but it also, there's a lot of positive things. It also has a good reputation that isn't maybe as promoted as much, and that's the one of close-knit community, of friendliness, of warm and generous neighbors, and that's something that our interns are able to experience as they work in the garden and as they do community outreach in the neighborhood. Another thing that we notice is that our interns are willing to try new and different foods as a result of being able to grow them and also just being exposed to them. I had one of our interns of last week tell me that he didn't eat anything green. But when we had food as medicine for the first time on Thursday, and he actually got to participate in cooking a quinoa pasta with a spinach basil pesto, which is something that he had never had before, he was actually willing to try it, and he liked it. And that leads into an eagerness to grow their own food. So while the purpose of our program is not to create farmers or even to necessarily create gardeners, we want to encourage them to do it, and know that going through our program means that they have the ability if they want to, and they know what to do with land if they want to. And we found that many of our interns are eager to grow their own food after they go through our program. And finally, we're really proud of the way that our program is structured to encourage active improvement as an intern. So again, with the evaluation and constantly looking at themselves, we want them to always be aware, and we've seen that significant changes from beginning to end in terms of how they carry themselves, how they speak to other people in the garden, how they speak about Backyard Gardeners Network, improving their speaking skills in front of people, being more proactive, and understanding how valuable they are in their communities. Those are some of the changes that we've noticed in our interns, and we're really, really proud of all the kids who have gone through our program. So that concludes the overview of Backyard Gardeners Network. We hope that you have gotten a we hope that you've gotten the necessary information about our work, why we do it, and what it looks like day to day at the Guerrilla Garden. we're raising. We have a fundraiser coming up on April 17th, 2017. It's our Back to Our Roots fundraiser. And with this fundraiser, we aim to raise $25,000 to support this free community programming. And as you have seen in the webinar, it's not just gardening, it's not just fun activities that we do at the garden, but there's really purpose behind everything that we do. It's very, very community-based. Every aspect of what we do has a reason and a value in our community. So we really hope that by learning more about Backyard Gardeners Network, you'll be more interested in supporting us, not only through this fundraiser, which we hope you do at www.bgnnola-roots.eventbrite.com. And you still have a few days to do that before April 17th, but also supporting us in other ways. And we'd love to hear from people as well. We're always looking to connect with Black health professionals, for instance, for our Food is Medicine workshop series, for Black gardeners to lead, gardening workshops and work with our children, for chaperones to help us with field trips with our youth interns, even for general office support, doing the boring admin work that nobody really wants to do. We're always looking for, to connect with other people and to, to get support that way. So we want to take the time too to thank our sponsors, our major sponsors, the Windsor Court Hotel and Brandon Burger. We've also gotten a large sponsorship from Humana for this fundraiser. And we've gotten, we also have sponsors at a smaller level with J. Palmer Brodsky, Jamani Mwendo, who's my sister, and also Tayari Kwa Salam. It's going to be a great show. We have Tank and the Bangers performing, and if y'all haven't seen them, they are absolutely worth it. Amazing, talented, and fun band. Also, Sunny Patterson, nationally known for her very powerful poetry. And then finally, the Yisrael Trio, a very talented group of young people who have been playing really for years. And it's really, really worth coming out to see them and also to support the work of Backyard Gardeners Network. All of the funds that we raise from this fundraiser are going to go to our free community programming, as I mentioned earlier in the webinar. And we really would love to see you there, but for those who cannot make it but still want to support, we accept donations, and for every $50 donated, a general admission ticket will be given to a youth or a Lower Ninth Ward community member. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch and listen to this webinar. Again, you can contact us at 504-875-2948. We can also be found on the internet at www.backyardgardenersnetwork.org. We're on Instagram and Twitter at BGNNOLA and on Facebook at Backyard Gardeners. And this webinar is going to be emailed out to the people that we invited to it, and we'll also post it on our website. Thank you very much.